Hello everybody, this is Combat Ineffective, and for the last, I'd say probably the last week, I've been trying to come up with different topics for the next podcast and hoping I was going to think of something that was going to be witty or funny or just thought-provoking, basically the same stuff that I normally do. And then I saw a press release that really just got me hopeful for July 20th, and July 20th has come and gone, and boy, I couldn't have thought of a better podcast than this one. We are going to be talking about something that the Russians are just amazing. They just gave me a gift. So one of their design bureaus over there, known as Sukhoi, they're very well-known aircraft manufacturers for years. Everything from, all of the different flanker versions, the Su-25 Frogfoot. There's a lot of different aircraft that they have designed over the years that actually have been pretty decent. The Su-27 is probably one of the more premier fourth generation fighters in the world. You have the Su-57 Felon, which is their first shot at a fifth generation fighter, and it was also their first stealth fighter. In fact, it was actually designed to go up against the F-22, and to be honest with you, even though it's taken them a while, it has done pretty well, I would say, at least in terms of the design and development. Well, what I am about to show you next, about to let you listen to next, is just a gift. This is incredible. So, without further ado, I will be getting to that in just a moment, and this is just beautiful. Stay tuned, everybody. Okay, so we're gonna react to this together. Just listen to that.
Forward. We rush forward with our thoughts.
What accent is
For
that?
us, everything is possible. The future. The designer creates his masterpiece, builds it combining imagination, science, and technology.
Again, what accent is this?
The world has changed. It is getting harder and harder to push forward. Every second spent thinking has high
Scottish?
price. These games are played like blitz chess.
What is blitz chess?
Speed. The boundaries between continents and countries are blurred. The universe is subject to the rules of a position from chess. Good and evil. Black and white.
Good and evil?
To win,
Did
need
you
to
all hear
move
that?
beyond this concept. Make revolutionary solutions. Solutions that can flip the board. The Sukhoi Design Bureau, together with UAC and Rostec, are about to present the future. Here and now. Pride, intelligence, power,
listen to all of these different words they're putting
is
into
the
this.
new 5th generation light tactical fighter. This is the Checkmate.
Okay, you guys really have to take a look at videos of this thing. This thing is just incredible. So if you've not seen the F-35 yet, get ready to see the Russian version of that, because that's what it looks like.
Checkmate.
It looks like a
a
Russian F-35, or as I'm calling it, the F-35 ski at this point.
Technology proven in real combat.
They're saying it's technology proven in real combat, but they're not saying how, because that has not seen the battlefield. This is a brand new aircraft.
With high potential for modernization.
What technology did they use, and where did they get it from? What, Su-27s, Su-57? Which one? Or did they just steal it from someone else?
Supercomputer.
Designed to use a supercomputer in an aircraft.
Modeling.
Sure it does.
Digital calculations.
Yeah, that's a lot of computers.
Comprehensive virtual testing. This aviation platform was created in a record time, and today, Checkmate is ready for flight testing.
It's ready for flight testing. It's not ready for combat, it's just ready for flight testing. It took them a lot longer with the Su-57.
Checkmate can be deployed on difficult, high-mountain airfields, operated in any climatic conditions.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Open
first-line
architecture, adaptability, and the wide range of additional options make it possible to assemble the aircraft in ideal configuration at optimal price.
What is optimal price for
The
them?
plane comes with an automated Matryoshka logistic support system. It allows organized staff training, lowers costs, and improves after-sales maintenance efficiency. A predictive analytics system is integrated into the system.
Again, can anybody else figure out what
procedures required by each aircraft in the fleet?
This sounds like some combination of British and Scottish
with an
here.
auxiliary power unit for autonomously powering its systems.
It's like they just
The airframe
plugged
design
in
allows for
the
easier
speech
maintenance of the aircraft.
onto some
It requires
computer
a limited
AI to
number of
read it off for
personnel
them.
and no special aerodrome equipment. All this makes it possible to quickly prepare the aircraft for each flight and maintain a high level of combat readiness when flying high-intensity operations.
And they can prove that how?
Checkmate is equipped with artificial intelligence. The system independently conducts diagnostics of the aircraft and informs the pilot about readiness for takeoff.
Systems checked.
Wow.
Smart crew
So
support implemented.
this thing is going to be
plane is
smarter
ready
than
for
the
takeoff.
pilot?
Due to the high thrust-to-weight ratio, outstanding wing elevating features, and a reliable thrust-vectored engine, the aircraft has impressive takeoff and landing capabilities.
So it can take off and land fast.
Reduced takeoff and landing distance.
And they're saying powerful thrust to weight ratio, but it's a single engine aircraft. I mean, unless this is like an English Electric Lightning, it's not going to be that much better than, say, an F-16 or an F-35.
Maneuvering under up to 8G.
Maneuvering
It
up
has
to
impressive
8G.
acceleration capabilities
So that's still
and can maintain continuous supersonic flight.
it can
It can instantly
maintain
react to changing
supersonic
combat
flight.
situations, move to
There's a
the
lot of them that can
operating
do that.
area in the shortest possible time, and complete its mission.
It just seems like they just put in a bunch of buzzwords that a bunch of people that have no knowledge of aircraft would think is, oh yeah, this is great.
Checkmate has the best payload capabilities in its class, and the longest available patrol time when searching for a target and waiting for designation.
So it has a very long loiter
1.8
time.
Mach maximum speed. Its range without additional fuel tanks is over 2,800 kilometers. Combat payload amounts to 7,400 kilograms.
7,400 kilograms. Okay. I'll buy that.
Radar
Let's
stealth
take a look.
And an advanced multi-band passive detection system
7,400 kilograms.
The operational and tactical situation and
2
reach
pounds.
the required distance for destroying its target undetected.
So that is 16,314 pounds. Alright. So, F-16 combat weight.
Checkmate is equipped with state-of-the-art avionics to carry out versatile combat missions.
So,
In
the
its basic
F-16's
configuration, its
weight,
active phase,
maximum
the Ray
takeoff
Raider,
weight,
allows to simultaneously attack up to
33,000
6
pounds.
targets, even under strong electronic
which is more than
interference.
this. Okay, let's see. Combat radius. Combat range.
The aircraft can use a full range of weapons and effectively fight against any air, ground, sea targets, and the most advanced air defense systems.
Okay, but can it actually go up against, say, an F-22 or a Saab Gripen or
Artificial
anything like
intelligence
that?
acts as a co-pilot and allows the human pilot to concentrate on operating the weapons.
Air-to-air missile selected.
So it sounds like they're trying to take the pilot out of this. This actually sounds more like it's being ready for
Target
essentially
destroyed.
unmanned
Checkmate's
operations.
stealth configuration is capable of carrying up to 5 air-to-air missiles of various ranges.
Up to 5.
It can effectively fight for air supremacy against a numerically
That's not many.
superior enemy.
It's
It can
really
detect
not
and
many.
destroy 5th-generation aircraft in both long and dogfight air combat engagements. Its unique electronic warfare system disarms the enemy. The internal weapon base of the aviation platform can house guns.
Yeah, it's still not. I'm also looking up what Fat Amy, the F-35,
They allow eliminating
can
mild
carry.
ground
Looks
targets
like it
without
can carry
posting
more.
limited high-precision weapons.
Doesn't have the same range, but it looks like it can carry more. So they're trying to say that this thing is so much better.
Sukhoi's new light
Not really
tactical
there.
plane has unique payload capacity. It has the largest weapons base in its class. This allows the use of all existing means of destruction.
They're
in
talking
stealth
about it
mode,
like it's a brand
both
new
bombs
car
and
design.
high-precision missiles. The combination of high combat payload and low flight hour cost makes the aircraft the leader in its class in terms of price and combat effectiveness.
Well, price maybe, but not combat effectiveness.
Checkmate is the combat platform of the future, and a manned version of the plane is already being created on the basis of a unified aviation platform.
Did you all hear that? The manned
Checkmate
version.
can act as a command post for a group of manned and unmanned aircrafts, united into a single system.
Yeah,
Instantly
that's what
reacts
this
to the
is.
changing
If
combat
you're listening to
situation,
it, this is actually
automatically
a
designating
UCAV
complete
project. This is
tasks of
actually
any
not
complexity.
a manned aircraft design. They just found a way to put a man into this. So this is actually just a much more advanced
Yesterday's fantasy is
UCAV.
becoming today's reality, a reality that illustrates the future. Breakthrough technologies, proven and refined solutions,
What was that part?
incredible potential for modernization, and unique combat capabilities.
I don't get
This is not just
who they're
another
trying to sell this to.
fifth-generation aircraft. This is Checkmate.
Yeah, this is comedy gold. They're trying to make this sound like this is the best thing since sliced bread, and it's really not. I really don't know what the Russians were thinking with this design. It really just sounds like they copied the F-35. So, what do we have here with the Russians? Well, it kind of seems like they really don't know what they're going to be doing next, and so they just came up with a single-engine version of their Su-57. I mean, if you look at the design of this thing, and I know with it being a podcast, it's hard for you to see it, but you're going to have to look this thing up. Just look up the Russian Checkmate. It's all over the place. It has the same... almost the exact same design. It looks like they either took the F-35 or I believe it was the F-37, the X-37, which was the X-32. It looks like it's a combination between the two of them is what they actually designed here. And I find that very interesting that the Russians, especially Sukhoi, has not found a way to come up with something that looks any different than what the F-35 does. They really didn't go out of their way. And if you look at the customers that they're actually focusing on in their original teaser trailer on it, they were focusing on Vietnam, they were focusing on UAE, and they were focusing on Argentina. All three of those countries are either looking for or just bought brand new fighters. UAE was so they wanted the F-35 so badly that they actually signed a peace treaty with Israel that actually acknowledges Israel has a right to exist. That's how much they wanted the F-35. And I think the Russians have missed the point of what the F-35 is actually here for. Heard this best from another guy. He's known as The Mover, a guy called C.W. Lemoyne. He does a lot of different YouTube videos now of seeing different aircraft in movies and saying what was right and what was wrong about it. And he talks about this. He talks about the F-35, tells what the pilots actually call it. They call it Fat Amy as their nickname for it, even though the real name is the Lightning II. And he said, if you look at it, between the two aircraft, the F-22 and the F-35, the F-22 was supposed to be the air superiority fighter. The F-35 was meant to be basically the combat aircraft, the one that was going to be doing the strike capability. Can the F-22 do some ground strike capability? Yeah, it's proven it actually can do ground strike. But the F-35 was designed for it, and especially with the sensor suite that it has, and the fact that it can not only command itself, but a fleet of drones along next to it with the right programming, and just put bombs right on target very easily, and can do it with a very heavy payload. You can actually do it in a couple different modes. If they still have a bunch of air defense up, they do it in a fully enclosed mode, but once the air defense systems are down, they go into what is called beast mode, and it can actually hold a lot more payload than some of these other aircraft. It was actually designed for both roles. And it's not designed to be a dogfighter. It really was not. In fact, it has about the same maneuverability as they said as the F-16 and possibly the F-18, maybe a little bit less than both. Whereas the F-22, from what CW Lemoyne was saying, it has some capabilities that nobody has seen. It's actually such a highly maneuverable aircraft that they have only shown a partial capability because the rest of it's classified. So the fact that they're holding back pilots with this thing, and we don't have that many of them. I think the total number we have is like maybe 200 right now. Kind of shows you what the world is up against, and they don't even know what it can do completely. So with all of this, and with the Russians coming up with this, the Russians are hard up just to try and sell anything to foreign countries right now. The Su-35s are, most of the different Sukhois that they've got are not selling as well as they'd hoped. Even the MiGs are actually selling a little bit better right now than Sukhoi is. And that's kind of surprising considering the Sukhoi Bureau has created some very good fighter aircraft. The last big sale I know that they made was to Armenia with, I think it was like 10 of the Su-30, which is probably the best air superiority fighter in the region right now, even over their enemy Turkey, which has F-16s. So considering that, and then looking at some of the other places that they're trying to sell this, including India, it's kind of amazing that this is what they've come up with. A single-seat fighter that's supposed to be a 5th generation, possibly some stealth put into it, and maybe a higher payload, but they're not really talking about what the price is. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, especially with the INS Vikramaditya, the Russians are very good at bait and switch, and what they'll do is they'll give a very low price for some of these aircraft, but you have to buy a bunch of other stuff with it. When the Indians bought that carrier essentially for a song and dance originally, it ended up ballooning to 3 times what they wanted for the cost of it. And they're still not finished paying for it. So, with that in mind, with that going on, I'm kind of wondering if this is really going to sell that well. Like I said, UAE's out of the picture. They just bought the F-35. Argentina was just told... basically, Argentina wanted, I forget which aircraft that they were trying to get. I think they were trying to get, maybe F-35s, but they were trying to get themselves a new aircraft, and Great Britain was pretty much telling them no. And if anybody tried to, they were going to put sanctions on that country. So that's where they're at. Vietnam probably is going to be one of the closest allies that they're going to have on it, but they've been looking at Sukhois to try and fight China. And I don't know if they're ready for this aircraft, when I don't know if it's just as capable as any of the Chinese aircraft, like say the J-11. So if it's not as good as they are, they're probably not going to go for it. And then you look at India. India already has their own indigenous fighter that they're making, which is going to be, it looks like a new version of a Mirage or a Dassault Rafale. And if it's going to have that Delta design, it's going to be highly maneuverable, probably even more than this. And if it's got that, there's not going to be any need for it. If they can make their own fighter, it's not going to be worth it. The country I could see trying to get this, once sanctions are lifted, would probably be Iran. And that's because they've been waiting for years to try and get their hands on something brand new. Their newest fighters are F-14s, F-4s, and F-5s, and especially their new indigenously produced F-5s. If you look at my Iranian videos, I talk more about the Sukhoi and the Azarch of what they designed, which were basically just modifications of F-5s. So, if you look at all this, kind of think this was an overshoot for the Russians. We'll see how well it does, but at least for now, no, I think this was a big swing and a miss. It depends on what the price is, and it depends on what its actual capabilities are going to be in combat. Well, everybody, I would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and I hope to see you on the next one. If you want to listen to more of these podcasts, we are putting these up everywhere, anywhere I can put them up. On Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, there's like 5 or 6 different places, and I am converting these over to put onto YouTube as well. So I hope you'll follow me there. I will put some of the links in the description once it gets to YouTube. And if you're still looking for us and wish to support this channel, then head on over to combatineffective.com. It has links to our Patreon page. And I'd like to thank our patrons that have been supporting us this whole time, including our general level patrons, General Richie and General Sergio Suarez. Thank you very much, everybody. You have been listening to Combat Ineffective, and this is Combat Ineffective reviews and reacts to the new Sukhoi Checkmate.